So how does guest tardiness affects the wedding?
Don't be tardy for the party.
Definitely never.
Well, the weddings that I'm involved with, it doesn't affect anything because I tell people all the time, I need the 2 people getting married and the officiant and me. That's all we need. That's all. Everyone else is a bonus.
Yes.
But I also it's a balance because I don't want a couple walking down the aisle and looking at a bunch of empty chairs because their guests were late. So it does make a big difference in their mood and they feel like, okay, I'm walking down the aisle and I'm expecting to see smiling faces and see my loved ones, and whereas everyone, they're stuck on the highway because they're in traffic or, things like that. I think pre-planning, just planning things in advance to avoid that is the best. So for instance, any invitations that we send out, we have a 30-minute grace period. So if we send a wedding invitation out, wink, wink, and it says 4 o'clock, the wedding's actually going to start at 4:30. But when I say it's starting at 4:30, it's starting at 4:30. I gave you that 30-minute grace period. But it does affect it, and I have to find that balance because I want you to be here and I want you to see this and I want the couple to see you, but I also know that we have obligations to this venue. We have obligations to these vendors who are on a certain contract. So we can't just continue to just push things back because guests aren't here.
So understand that any activities you find before a wedding, when you are attending a wedding, is because they anticipated you being late. So if you come in, you find welcome champagne and all of that, they're just making time so everybody can be there. I do not want my brides going down the aisle, definitely with empty chairs, okay? Right. So at the beginning of the wedding, there's some kind of gathering just so we can make time. But I think also you should, look at your schedule. Once you RSVP to that wedding and then your schedule for your job or whatever that you need to do comes up, I think you should try to make adjustment because you had plenty of time. Those invitations got to you, 6 to 8 weeks before the wedding, right?
Right.
So therefore, once you get your calendar for work, you should make that adjustment. Say, hey, can I leave early?
Absolutely.
No? Is that asking for too much?
Not at all. And also understanding that like weddings, the formality of it is going to take longer. If you're pulling up to a hotel, you're pulling up to a hotel with another 120, 150 people. That's not the same as you just pulling up to someone's house,
correct,
right? So you have to plan for that bottleneck. You have to understand you're going to be wearing dressier clothes, you're going to be wearing heels, you're going to move slower. It's going to be, you have to give yourself time to pace yourself.
Valet.
So exactly, valet, all of those things that are going to naturally slow the day down, so you should plan for it. Yeah, your GPS may tell you it's going to take 30 minutes to get there, but it may actually take you 45, 50 minutes to get there, wait on valet, go to the elevator, sit in the ballroom, or sit in the ceremony room. So those things are what you should consider when you're on your way to the wedding.
Yeah, so going back to the fact that, you are an important guest to the bride and the groom. So therefore, that's why you are attending the wedding. So not making prior arrangement for you to be there on time, it's a bit disrespectful because not only they're making arrangement for 30 minutes prior, but then you show up even later while my bride is going down the aisle. Then we're asking you to stay
I'm not asking
outside.
you. I'm telling you to stay outside.
She's telling.
Once that officiant hits that aisle, that's it.
That's it.
You have missed it. You will see the video.
I have my coordinators, my guest concierge. I ask them to just make sure everybody stay outside because there's no way
it's distracting
that I'm gonna let you in while my bride is going down the aisle. But then you catch an attitude. You start giving me major attitude.
That's okay.
You show up late, you're distractive because you are late, my bride is going down the aisle, and then you wanna throw a fit.
I don't take it personal. I'm here to do a job.
I don't take it personal, however, I want the guests to understand that there are steps to this. This has been planned a while ago. The bride envisioned her entrance, and then there you come, you want to come in, I gotta get in, and then you want to try to sneak in the back, and then the video's catching you, but then now the editor cannot use that cut because there's somebody going back you know, in the back of the bride and the groom, you know? So there's this domino effect when you are late, okay? You are late, you cause the wedding to be late, you are late, you cause for vendors to stay extra. So therefore now the bride and the groom, they have to make decisions. Are we going to pay that extra $500 for that hour for the photographer to stay? Are we going to pay that much for the venue to stay open for us, you know? And it's usually, at the end of the day, it's usually a great amount of money. And that's because you didn't make proper arrangement. But you know what? We can't put it all on the guests. Sometimes it's the bridal party.
Meaning like they're running late?
Correct.
What I said, I only need the two people getting married and the officiant. Oh, I need the witnesses. I'm sorry.
Well, you're the witness at this point.
If I needed to. Yeah, I mean, I would hope if someone is including you in their wedding party, that means you're super close to them. So I would hope that you are also being super considerate and respectful.
Because I can see a lot of guests right now just rolling their eyes as we were talking, like, no, we went there, we waited for 2 hours, and the bridal party was just pulling up, you know, and this and this and that. And yes, that has happened. That has happened. But we don't want you to be, you know, the reason why the bride and the groom has to pay like an extra $6,000, $7,000 at the end of the night. Let it be them, you know, or if we have to cut the wedding short or something like that, let it be them, you know, just be a great guest.
Absolutely. Don't worry about anyone else but yourself.
Exactly. I've seen during weddings, I can be at home and I get a notification. And sometimes it's just regular people that I follow. And sometimes it's people who are handling the wedding, and you get a live notification and people are live. And I know a lot of our bride and groom, they're not even aware that that's happening. Let's address the guests first, because I do think that a professional should know better not to go live. So let's address
the guests
first.
So, like me personally, I'm just not a fan of the going live thing, period. I think, I think of like safety concerns, right? You're letting people know in live time, in real time, what's going on with you. I don't think that is the best thing to do. But also, I don't think it's appropriate to steal the moment from the couple. If they created this environment, I think it should be up to them to showcase it to the audience, to their audience, or to the internet when they find the time appropriate to do so. So I can't imagine me enjoying my wedding day and someone that's not here has already seen my beautiful dress, or they've seen all of this decor, or they heard all this great music, or saw this entertainment or surprise elements that I had for my day that was very sacred to me. And now it's just been put out to a large audience. So I don't agree with it. I think it's something that you should probably stay away from. Now, here's the thing, you are your own individual. So if you choose to maybe do, I don't know, a get ready with me, or you're showing off your wedding attire, or maybe you're showing off your name and your place card, or
that's
something.
Different.
Those are little details. I think that's okay. I don't think it's giving the full picture.
Correct.
But I'm never gonna be okay with like going live and doing like a full pan and like walking through the room and just showing everything off, because I do think that the couple should have that moment first.
I agree 100%. But I think that people also need to read those signs that's around that says unplugged wedding. If you didn't know what an unplugged wedding was, it's when the bride and the groom, they would want you to, they're asking you not to record during their ceremony. A lot of time it's mostly the ceremony, but it could be the entire wedding as well, that they do not want you recording during taking pictures or recording while their wedding is happening. They hire professionals to do so. So therefore, they just want you to be in the moment with them. They don't want their pictures all over the place. They don't want videos all over the place on the internet. So that's why sometimes you see those signs that says unplugged wedding. So yes, even though you have the signs, there are people that's still trying to sneak in the phone and trying to take videos and things. So how do you handle that? What do you do?
Well, once again, everything goes back to communication. So I make sure that the DJ announces this as guests are coming in. We usually say something along the lines of, welcome, feel free to take your photos, because it is the ceremony space is a beautiful space, and I think that you should have the opportunity to capture that, but not while the actual ceremony is happening. So usually the DJ or our MC or host or someone like that will give that communication of, hey, feel free to take your photos, and you'll kind of get that, okay, it's that time for everyone to unplug and put their devices away because we're about to get started. You're always going to have a guest that's going to push it. Some people feel like the rules do not apply to them, but the rules have to apply to everyone, because what happens is if I let you slide, then that person over there is like, oh, well, they're using their phone, so let me just take mine out real quick. And before you know it, you have everything that the couple did not want. So I've thrown people out. I have.
Oh, geez.
I'll give you the little church tap.
I do that a lot.
I'll give you the...
Yes. Excuse me.
And then if you acting crazy, I'm like, get out. What?
Oh.
No, out. Because you're going to cause a problem. Because like I said, if someone else is seeing you and not everyone feels they have to do it, and it's only myself and other few people, we're outnumbered with the guests, right? So I have to try to get control of that one person before it becomes 10 people.
And you didn't even have to get to that moment. People, you just have to, you're grown. You're grown adults, just like at your job or at your church or whatever part of organization that you're part of. They have sets of rules and you follow them. It's the same thing when you come to somebody's wedding.
Exactly.
And respect the people in charge. We're not just wearing black attire or coming to talk to you for no reason. It's because we're achieving what the bride and groom wants to.
Right.
So I do that a lot. Excuse me.
Yeah, I make everything about the couple.
The
couple does not want their ceremony filmed. It's not me. I'm just here as the messenger. The couple does not want that. If that does not work for you, we can show you out. You can start cocktail hour early and be over there. But don't do that in this space.
Okay, so what about when the professionals do it?
What professionals?
I have seen it.
I'm not working with those type of professionals, so I don't know.
I've seen it. And it's okay. Like, this is the thing. I think it's okay when you do some live. Definitely. I'm not saying it's all restricted.
Right.
Or it's all wrong. Never. There are some times, people go live, just like during the excitement part, hey, where, the bride just walked down from the ceremony, down the aisle. And then, they'll do that with the bride and the groom's permission. And then that's totally fine. Or right before the reveal and things like that.
Yeah.
But I've seen, because I was at church at a wedding. I was a guest, right? And my notification went off, because I follow that person. And it was the wedding that I already knew what the reception looked like. Yeah. I already knew what the reception looked like because the planner or the florist or something like that, they went live.
Yeah, I mean, even as a vendor, you're still a guest in the sense of this couple has trusted you to be in this space for this sacred moment. So I think that you should respect it. Now, if you've had a conversation with the couple and the couple doesn't care, it's cool. I think it just has to be that communication. But I would be very disappointed if you did not have that conversation with me in advance, and then the couple's wedding is now spotlighted and highlighted all over social media before they got to share that moment.
Exactly.
I think a lot of the issues and a lot of these what about conversations, what if, can all be solved if we remember to continue to center the couple, because that's who it's about. So check your ego, check your priorities, check your attitude, and center the couple, and that'll answer a lot of your questions.
I think some of our newer professionals stepping into the wedding industry or event industry, I think it's mostly, they're not thinking to themselves that you're ruining the moment for the bride and the groom. They haven't even seen the work, and then you're already going live. I think it's more to them. They're like, oh, let's show what we're doing, so that, we can attract more people. And I get it, but it's at the right moment.
Right, but what you just said, show what we're doing, is not about you. Once we send to the couple, we'll nip all that in the bud.
Correct. I think you summed it all up. Yeah, definitely. So you know, there's different areas in the wedding. So you're coming from, let's say, the gathering right before the ceremony, right? You know, the part that they create just so you can make it on time. And then you have the beautiful ceremony. And then you have the cocktail hour, okay? But with the receptions, there's usually a lot more going on with the reception. What are some things, I'm gonna ask you 2 questions in one, okay? So what are some things that guests should be aware of before they even step into the reception room? And also, what do you feel that guests sometimes they overlook that can create chaos during the reception?
So I think, you know, cocktail hour, everyone's excited and everyone's thinking about the bar and hors d'oeuvres, which are great, but I think it's important to watch for any instructions or communication. So once again, is the DJ or the hostess, the MC announcing certain things? It may be something as simple as let, you know, elderly people walk in the room first so they can get seated, and or something along the lines of making sure you view your seating chart and you know where your table is, so that you're not walking in and then saying, I don't know where to sit, and oh, I missed the board, let me walk back out, because all of that just kind of slows down things, and we want to get you seated really, really quickly. Now, once you're in the room, we have to understand that when we're creating these beautiful environments, that people are going to be impressed by it. So I can't be upset that people are taking their time to take photos and videos and stuff. I think that should kind of be baked in the timeline. If you're creating this beautiful experience, people are going to want to take it in. But now once that time has passed and it's time to sit down and we want to welcome in the couple, don't play the musical chairs. Don't do that. Don't do that.
What do you mean by the musical chair?
You knew on that board that you were at table 10. Why are you at table 4?
Okay.
Why?
Okay.
Why?
And that's where I wanted to get to. Looking at the beautiful big picture that says the people that we love, or find your seat, or welcome to our wedding. If it has all these little names on it with table numbers, you should find your names during the cocktail hour.
First of all, let's go back to centering a couple. Seating arrangements is one of the stressful part of the wedding process.
Oh, Jesus.
They're ready to pull their hair out.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like you almost can't make everyone happy. There's always something uneven. I would have loved to put that person there, but it's 2 of them. It's only 1 seat here. There's a lot of shifting. So the couple,
what about the family drama?
The mom and the dad that are divorced. So we have to have 2 different family tables.
The auntie who's not happy with.
They've already played musical chairs, putting that seating arrangement together. And understand that when there is a seating arrangement, everything is for decency and order. We have a certain amount of people, we have a certain amount of chairs, we have a certain amount of chairs per table, we're bringing a certain amount of plates for that table. And so once you start to disrupt that, you're causing a chain effect that you don't even realize, but just stick to what the board says.
I've had people that came to me and said, why would she put me here when she knows this and this and this? Ma'am, no, do not go to my bride and the groom.
No, absolutely.
They want to go talk to the bride and the groom sometimes. Come on, guys.
Yeah,
I
had a family member do that before, and she was literally getting ready to go and come talk to the bride. I had to say, hey, listen, they're in wedded bliss. At this point, this is what they did. This is what they created. This is your experience is still going to be amazing. We create a multi-sensory experience where every guest enjoys themselves.
Correct.
So it really does not matter where you're seated at. Your food isn't going to be any different. Your drinks aren't going to be any different. Your cake isn't going to be any different. Just sit where the couple told you to sit. Another one too, though, but even when you get to that table, so you have the ones where it says table 10. You went to table 10. Thank you. But you told us 6 to 8 weeks ago that you wanted fish. And I have your name all printed,
the little
beautiful
card sitting there.
And it says fish,
Melissa Philippi fish.
And you decide that you want steak. And so now it's miraculously disappeared, right? I don't have no card.
But I ordered steak.
But you know, I ordered steak. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
And that's why
you know why my captain got the printout.
The printout or your iPad.
We have your seating arrangement. So not only do we know what table you're supposed to be at, we know what seats you're supposed to be
Correct.
in. And we know at that seat what entree is supposed to be served.
Correct.
So stop it.
So when you do that, when you as a guest, you go to someone's wedding, first of all, when you decide that you don't want to sit at table 10 and you prefer to be at table 2, let me tell you what you do also. The kitchen now didn't know that you did that. The kitchen has 4 fish and 4 steak for that table. However you move, you go to table 2. And the kitchen now is gone to table 2 and bring you food that you did not order. So now you're telling them, oh no, I didn't order fish. They brought you fish because this is supposed to be Gerlene's seat who ordered fish. But then Cassandra, you're sitting at her seat. Do you see what you're created? The kitchen now is messed up, with you doing what you just did. Mm-hmm. The couple already made the sitting chart, and trust me, they moved mountain creating that sitting chart. Mm-hmm. So please see where they ask you to see.
Just follow the rules.
The last thing that I want to touch on that are the older generations or the aunties, and I'm an auntie too, but like the auntier than me, who feels that it's a line that I get a lot from my bougie Haitians. Je suis la famille. I'm part of the family, and yes, but you're still at table 2 mm-hmm. because they want to be at you're still at table 10 because they want to be at table 2. They want to be closer to the bride. They want to be closer to the groom. And the sitting chart is already made. The reason why you are here in the first place is because you are la famille. It's because you are part of the family. So where you are assigned to be seated, just enjoy it. So they feel that this table is a little too far, then therefore it's disrespectful, da-da-da-da. And I get this a lot from like the Caribbean side of the family, kind of thing. Yes, I also do a lot of Haitian weddings, and I get that a lot. And I just want you guys to understand that the reason why you are there to begin with is because you are appreciated.
They value you.
They value you.
Look, there's only 10 to 12 seats at that table. Everybody can't be in the front.
Yeah.
So just be respectful.
Definitely. So let me ask you this one specific question. Was there ever a time you felt like your bride and groom asked you to do something that was a little bit too outrageous, or maybe your guests wouldn't understand or something like that, and then you had to put a stop to it? Share some details.
I can't think of anything super outrageous. I think one of the things we have to understand as planners is that this is like routine for us, but it's new for the couple. So sometimes there are suggestions or they ask questions and you're just like, no, we shouldn't do that. Mm-hmm. I think one of the conversations is always around the bar, mm-hmm. because going back to cost savings, especially if it's a couple that doesn't value alcohol, they may feel like, well, what do you think about a cash bar?
Mm-hmm. That's a no.
Going back to what I said about being a hostess, or the whole like, well, we'll give them this, but if they want that, they have to pay. You wouldn't have someone come in your house and be like, okay, well, if you guys want to drink this is cool. Oh, but you want to drink that one?
You gotta pay.
You got cash at me. You got to Zelle me to taste that way. So don't do that at your wedding.
Correct.
I have had guests ask about the whole, should we charge people? I have. No. But sometimes it's because the guests ask them. You do have some guests be like, well, I'll pay my way because I want to come. And it's like, no, just don't set that type of precedent.
Yeah.
Food as well. I'm really big on, if you do value alcohol and you do have a lot of alcohol, like you need to feed people well. Don't skimp on food. It's a liability.
Yeah.
The last thing you want is to have these very small dishes or say, oh, we're only gonna do hors d'oeuvres because we want to save food, and people are filling themselves with alcohol and now they're intoxicated and they don't have anything to help balance that liquor that they've been consuming for 3-4 hours. So I would say those things, usually around food and beverage, but it really is usually around cost savings. So it's just about steering them in other directions, saying maybe let's consider this and consider that. Because my whole thing is, while every part of a wedding is important, what you don't want is to have a bad guest experience.
Yes.
Because if I have, made that time and I did everything right as a guest, and I'm on time, and I RSVP'd on time, I did all the things, and then I show up and it feels like you cared more about having this $1,200 centerpiece on your table than making sure that I'm properly fed, it just doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to make sure that my couples get that balance, and that everything works together.
You don't want anybody going to the pizza place, McDonald's after your wedding.
I've done that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel good to be like, well, I've gotten dressed, I bought a new dress, I got a car, and I'm starving, and now I'm looking like, okay, well, let's get out of here because we're still hungry.
Yeah, I know that.
And I saw that recently. It was floating around on the internet where someone said that they went to a wedding at like 7 o'clock on a Sunday and they had no dinner.
Oh, wow.
Come on now, you know your mama taught you better than that.
And you know what, sometimes I see that, the place is such a, renowned place, and then the venue, and then the catering, the food part of the place is just, a little grain of rice.
So maybe we have to ask for the duo plate. If culturally that if you're going to a space and you know that culturally that your family are heavy eaters and they just have an expectation and cuisine is super important to them, so maybe you have a duo plate and you have two protein options that's more filling. Or once again, you have those late night bites so that there's another round of food that's coming around. I think you have to consider that. You know your guests. Mm-hmm. You know your guests. So I'm on the client as well, that the guest experience is important.
When you're moving people from their comfort zone and then you bringing them into your space, you also have to wine and dine them. You have to woo them too, because they made a lot of effort to come and support you as well. So you see, we're not just saying that the guests have to do, the guests have to do, the guests have to do. The couples also, there are certain things that they also have to do to accommodate you guys. Let's summarize all of this, okay? So let our viewers know, in a nutshell, what are some best practice when it comes to them being a guest?
Read.
Read
the save the date. Read the wedding invitation. Read the wedding website.
Yes. Read everything. I agree.
Read and comprehend. And if you
hand in hand, they go together.
And if for some reason that you do not comprehend, I hope that you're working with a planner, but I understand that everyone doesn't have that luxury to be able to hire a planner. But I also make sure on a wedding website that we have our contact information. So I think for general things, go to the wedding planning team first.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's a lot. You have to think about if 150 people are asking you the same questions, it will be a lot as a couple. And so I try to take some of that off of them. So yeah, if you don't have questions after you have thoroughly read, open the invitation up, flip it, shake it, make sure there's no other inserts in there, because we usually give you all the information you need to know. Go to the website, click every page, read every page, and then even after that, if you don't have your question answered, then maybe reach out to the wedding planning team. But just try not to go to the couple with so many, small questions that can possibly aggravate them.
Yeah.
Be on time, and if you wonder if you should do it, you probably should.
I agree. I agree with that. My mama said that.
Yes.
If you got to think about it twice, maybe you shouldn't do it.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, KeAira, it was such a wonderful time having this conversation with you.
Thank you. Thank you. This was fun. I hope that this reaches the target audience.
Yes.
And that the guests that are going to start getting these beautiful, expensive, elaborate invitations in the mail for the upcoming seasons, that they'll know how to govern themselves accordingly.
It's engagement season.
Yes.
Engagement season is starting.
So we got about a month and a half before those rings start popping out.
Yep. So since engagement season is about to start November, right? About November. Mm-hmm. So you have another possibly 9 months. You will start receiving some invitations, okay? Mm-hmm. My love.
Thank you.
This was awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being at the Before the Veil. You provided a lot of great gems, you know. So if somebody didn't hear, they didn't comprehend, rewind that show. Rewind this show and go back to the segment that you want to listen to, because all of this is valid. It's all valid. Thank you for joining us at the Before the Veil show. We hope that you've gathered enough information for your next upcoming event, both our guests and of course our upcoming professionals. Thank you so much. We hope that you can join us on YouTube at the Before the Veil show and also on our Instagram, the Before the Veil show. Looking forward to bringing you more information, and we'll always have something new for you. And thank you to our wonderful guest, KeAira of KeAira Chantell event. Follow her, definitely follow her. She's amazing. And I know a lot of you guys already know of her. But until next time, ciao.